Tori.
Hello.
Is that gray bar showing up across the bottom or no?
It is, yes, sir.
Yeah. Figure out the best way to do this.
Did you optimize your video settings?
I did, and when you do that, and you still have the videos up so you can like see people,
Do you want to turn that off, or do you want to?
Yeah, I can turn it off. It's just I'm sitting here talking to myself, staring at the screen.
No comment.
Yeah, I do that anyways normally. So.
Hey guys, just a reminder, if you want a copy of the presentation for those that are just joining us, if you go to the chat function and select myself, send it to me privately, your email address, and I'll get that out to you guys tomorrow. So just shoot me a private message in the chat, and I'll give you the recording of this.
Sorry, you got me now?
Yes, sir, you're good. Yep.
I'm gonna get rolling here. Again, really appreciate everyone joining us here on this Thursday afternoon. Talk a little ball. You know, I'm gonna be fidgeting, and it's tough to present sitting down in a chair. I know everyone's going through the same kind of thing. You guys meeting with your players over Zoom and all different kinds of ways to connect with our players here, but I'm a guy that likes to get up and move around and so I'll try and sit as still as I can. But wanted to talk and share with you guys today a little bit on linebacker play. Going to, first kind of go through some just general philosophy, general, my personal brand and what are the things I believe in, teaching progression, those sorts of things. And then really the focus for the meat of the presentation is block defeat. And it's something here at the University of Texas that we call the difference. Okay, so gonna spend most of my time showing you drills and just talking about the points of emphasis and the things that we really focus on when it comes to defeating a block, taking on a blocker, being able to separate, snag, and finish against a blocker to go make a play as a linebacker. So. Hope everybody can see this screen here. Was having a little bit of issues with some stuff popping up, but we'll go ahead and get started. One of my favorite quotes, all right, and it's something that we break our meeting, every linebacker meeting that I have with this quote, and it's something that I really stress my guys to live by, and that's don't talk about it, be about it. And what do I mean by that? That's not encouraging guys to be a mute and to be a robot and to not, have personality. As you get to meet me and come to practice and spend more time around me, you'll know I'm not a quiet guy. And I love to talk trash and compete and have fun with the best of them. And so I encourage my players to do that as well, because you can't play defense without passion, and you can't play the game of football without energy and enthusiasm. And so that's not really what I mean by that. What I mean is if you tell me something, your actions need to back it up. And another quote, obviously, that I'm sure many of you heard, that your actions speak so loud I can't hear what you're saying. And so that's really what I stress to my guys. You want to be an all Big 12 player. You want to be an All-American. You want to go on and play at that next level, okay? But you're not showing up to class on time. You're not, putting in the extra time and effort in the weight room, in the meeting room, whatever it might be. Then your words and your actions are totally separate. So, big time quote for me and for the guys in my room. I'm not going to read through this whole thing. Again, I know Tori's able to send you guys this presentation, so you can get the details of this stuff, but just to define the core fundamentals of what we're looking for, and when it comes to linebackers. And I'll say this to you guys, because I know it's a lot of high school guys, in on this presentation, but it's getting harder and harder to find the linebacker, position and to evaluate. A lot of you guys, and I don't blame you, put that guy on the edge and tell him to go rush the quarterback. And that's how he can be most effective for you to win ball games. And I do the same thing. It's getting harder and harder to find those guys that can play in the box, that can play in space. The day and age of the 240-pound, neck roll, A-gap to A-gap linebacker, or those are pretty much dead and gone. So, we're constantly trying to find that space player, that athlete, that guy that has these core values: toughness, coachability, to be a fundamental player, the relentless, effort and passion for the game, and then being a playmaker. And you'll see, as we continue to recruit here at Texas, we'll take safeties that have the growth potential. We'll take edge guys that we can trust to back off the ball and have the instincts to go make plays. But again, these are the core values that I really search for and pride my guys in my room here at Texas to live by. I think this is important, and I put this on here more of a suggestion for you guys. Too often, the coach to player relationship is a one-way street. And, you know, I'm the coach and I'm telling you, you know, what to do. And here's what you have to do, what you have to do, what you have to do. And honestly, guys, I think they need to hear and they need to know, you know, what are the expectations they can have of you. My dad was my coach in high school. So to all you, you know, high school coaches, you know, I say thank you. And I know and appreciate what you do on a day-to-day basis. And, you know, having grown up in the game, having grown up, you know, going to practice and jumping on agile bags and watching the relationships, the effect that my dad had on, you know, his players and his coaching staff and their players, you know, was huge for me. And so, you know, I use this quote by John Wooden, you know, that you help to instill productive principles and values and provide a positive example. The shame of it now, and you know, is that I asked everybody, you know, that I show this, who's John Wooden, and you know, very few people more and more can raise their hand and answer that question. But you know, it's critical that they understand that they can always approach you, good, bad, or indifferent. Communication is the key. You know, I tell my guys all the time, I might not like what you have to say, and you may not like what I have to say. But at the end of the day, we're going to know where we stand, and we can walk out the door and really, you know, be dedicated to finding a solution. You know, number two, demanding yet rewarding. You know, I'm gonna be all over you. I've got a level of an expectation and a you know, standard for you that you know, is even higher than you have as a player. And so, you know, I'm gonna hold you to that. But at the same time, you got to be rewarding. It cannot be, you know, all of one, and it can't be all of the other. You know, there's got to be a mix. There's got to be a balance. And, you know, the players really learn to respect that when you're honest and communicate. And the third one, you know, my goal is to cut through the BS, develop relationships based on trust, respect, and love. And I put those three words in there. Those words, especially that last one, you know, isn't thrown around a whole lot in the you know, man's man and macho world of football. But you guys know, who do this for the right reasons, that, you know, the game of football and the effect you can have on a young man's life and the relationships you can build that go beyond 4 years of high school, 4 years of college, or whatever, are huge. And does this happen with every single player? Not even close, unfortunately. But, you know, that's the goal. And, you know, I've got guys that I coached at, you know, Florida and Stanford, Boston College, just different places that I've been that, you know, that FaceTime me to this day, and others, unfortunately, that I've lost connection with. So, you know, that's the goal. That's the identity. That's something I think that you can shape for your own, you know, position room, for your own, you know, self as a coach. Just what do you think the young man can expect from you? And just, you know, what's your commitment to them? And then not only knowing that, but showing it to them and you know, expressing it to them, because then it makes it real for you. And you obviously have to live to that and up to that standard every day. Teaching progression. So just getting started on this, you know, I think that whether you're learning Spanish, you know, 305 or American government 250 or you know, whatever coverage, front and call you want in the game of football, there's got to be a progression. There's got to be a learning progression. Okay. And this is mine. This is ours. You know, the way that I create my install tip sheets and the way that I, you know, install with our players in fall camp or on a Tuesday of a game week, this is the foundation. I really lean on, you know, these core principles of alignment, assignment, key, technique, and execution, you know, to build that knowledge for my players. And I really stress to them to try and learn in this progression. Because as you get out on the field, and obviously you want to make it to where things are a habit and things are automatic, you got to have a progression to get your mind and get your thought process there. And so these are, the core pieces for me. I'm going to go through each one of these before we get into talking about, block destruction and the difference. Alignment, again, this is our language. This is pretty common language throughout the game of football, high school, college, whatever NFL level you want to talk about. I know some people do different things, but we use the numbering system. For our D linemen, it's a single digit, and for the linebackers, you throw a 0 on the end of it. So the odd numbers, 10, 30, 50, are the outside shoulder of the center guard tackle. And then, the even numbers are head up, 20, 40, 60, head up the guard, tackle, and then tight end. Talking about a space player, apex player, apex splitting the difference between the end man line of scrimmage and a number 2 receiver, possibly a number 3 receiver, whatever your scheme dictates. And then our wide alignment, just getting out there and getting on the inside shade, inside foot, my outside foot to his inside foot. Hip alignment, a 9 technique linebacker getting in a hip alignment, jumped off the tackle or off the tight end. All right. First step to success of linebacker is proper alignment. That's critical to your guys, to our players. If I can't get lined up right, my chances of making a play go way down. So, critical that the urgency, the mindset to get lined up. Why do teams go fast, right? Why do offenses play with tempo? Obviously to wear you down, but 2, to get you, in a bad alignment, to get you without your cleats in the dirt and, lowering your ability to execute. So alignment. Assignment. All right. So, next step after getting lined up right, I gotta know what to do. And, it's important for us to understand our run fits, but also understand our pass responsibilities. And, you got to be able to do both as a linebacker. There's a lot of DBs that don't have a run fit, and there's a lot of D linemen that, after they fit their gap, rushing the passers, just continuing on. So, the having the mental capacity to do it and understand all the different fits and assignments based on coverages and pressures and all that stuff. And also, the pass concepts and what kind of drops we have. So clearing those things up for your guys obviously is huge. We identify gaps, A, B, C, D. I think that's pretty universal as well. But just understanding run fits and how to fit gaps. Something I'd stress to you and to your players at the earliest possible age is how to draw all 11 and 11 on 11, all 22. It's amazing the amount of guys, even at the college level, who can't draw an offensive formation and line up, 11 defensive players against it. Doesn't matter how basic or the call might be. So, that skill is something that, has got to start early and really be stressed to guys. And what I tell my players is, when your career's over here and you want to go to that next level, you're going to be sitting in a interview with a GM and a head coach of an NFL team, and they're going to give you a marker and ask you, draw your favorite defense. And they could really care less about your scheme. They want to see if you know ball and if you can, teach it, if you can draw it, if you've spent the time, to be a student of the game. And I know that's something we say, but it's obviously something that you can check on your players and with quizzes and written, just different things, put them up on the board. You have an extra 5 minutes at the end of a meeting, toss a marker out to one of your juniors and seniors and say, get up here and draw, this fit. It's always a great thing to do throughout the year. Key, all right. I tell my guys all the time, your 3 weapons as a linebacker and as a football player are your eyes, your hands, and your feet. Your eyes, your hands, and your feet. And your eyes, I believe, are you know, probably 1A, because, you know, the ability to have great disciplined eye control, to be able to key and diagnose and then react, you know, in the right way, especially with the modern day offense, right? Of you know, speed motion coming from one side, and, you know, pullers going the other way, and the backs going this way, and the quarterback's coming back that way, right? Just, you know, communist offensive guys. But, you know, that aspect of your game, the ability to have disciplined eyes, focus on your eye progression, is critical. You know, if you key the center guard triangle, great. The truest key in football is the guard. I've heard that since I was 7 years old, and I believe it to this day. We at Texas key the back and his footwork. We feel the front. So with our peripheral vision, by opening our vision up, we feel pullers, but we key the back and his action. That has to do with some man-to-man concepts. That has to do with just the footwork and things that we can gain in the run game from a running back's footwork, whether it's wide, tight, you know, counter steps, different things like that. And, you know, but at the same time, they do have to feel the front for pullers, pass, hi-hat, you know, sniffers. We call the tight end right in the hip position a sniffer. So, you know, that's our eye progression. But again, I know a lot of guys coming up, you know, they key that center back or center guard triangle, and I don't disagree with that one bit. You see here, eye progression, look at the blocker, and then the Mike Tyson reference. So unfortunately, guys don't know who John Wooden is, but they damn sure know who Mike Tyson is. I very rarely come across somebody who doesn't. So the reference I give there, the example I give there is I ask them how much money it would take to get into the ring with Mike Tyson. And they all, you know, say their number, $1 million, whatever it is. But then the stipulation I put on it is that you have to stare at the referee the whole time you're fighting Mike Tyson. And they all say, hell no, they jump out of the ring. So, you know, why would I stare at a back carrying the ball, or a receiver, you know, or whoever, a ball carrier, with a 330-pound offensive lineman coming to rip my face off? So I've got to transition my eyes. I've got to be able to work my eye progression from a ball carrier to a blocker, back to a ball carrier, and all those things. Pre-snap clues, you know, you guys obviously, you watch your tape to prepare for the opponent that week, and, you know, all the breakdown stuff, whether it's offensive personnel, whether it's down and distance tendencies, formation tendencies, backfield set tendencies. Those are all, you know, important parts of the game. There is a balance. You can paralyze your guys, and you know the guys that can handle more and can't. And that's our job as coaches. You got to be real careful, because that's a slippery slope where a guy really gets paralyzed and slows down and isn't able to play fast and physical in the way you want him to play, because he's thinking too much about certain things. So I think there's some key points that you can hit on. I think there's some tendencies, you know, whatever the percentage cutoff you have that you like, but you know, those are important parts of the game plan. Technique. So alignment, assignment, key, technique. I pride myself on being a technician. I pride myself on really, you know, developing my players and giving them the tools to be successful in the game of football and at linebacker. Like I told you before, and you see it on there, your eyes, your hands, and your feet. I put there in parentheses power foot. You know, we're going to talk a little bit about that as we get into block defeat. But whether you're blocking, you're defeating a block, or you're tackling, you got to have a power foot in the ground. And that power foot is your near foot. All your power comes from the ground up. You know, guys love to get in there and bench and do all their curls, right? And put it up on Instagram and Twitter. And you know, we're dealing with the same thing you guys are dealing with. So, you know, guys love that stuff because they can see the results in the mirror, right? But, you know, the power clean is the greatest single lift there is. And the ability to generate power from the ground up, and put a foot in the ground and strike somebody with great pad level, whether, again, I'm on offense, I'm blocking, I'm on defense, I'm defeating the block, or I'm going to tackle somebody, is critical. So that's really what I mean by a power foot. These are some of the drills. These are the 4 areas that we really focus: block defeat, tackling the Longhorn way, you know, and then footwork and drops. Obviously, our pass responsibilities, and then a little bit of pass rush as we get into blitzing, as we get into third down. The final piece is execution. And, you know, this one for me is critical, because how many guys have those guys in their program or those guys in their linebacker meeting room that their alignment is perfect, their assignment, they know what to do inside and out, right? They use great eye discipline, great eye control, great keys, and they're a technician. But when that ball carrier's in that A gap or that B gap, or that receiver's out in space, or that ball comes to them for an opportunity to make an interception, they don't make the play. And, you know, you got to say, you know, sorry, little Johnny, but, you know, so-and-so over here is making a whole bunch of plays. And he may not line up right 100% of the time, but, you know, when he's on the grass, when he's in between the white lines, he's producing, and he's helping us, you know, win as a defense and win as a team. So, you know, that's a critical question. Obviously, we grade and evaluate practice, scrimmages, you know, the games, to really, you know, make sure and identify that we got guys on the field who are, you know, competing the right way, playing with the right effort, and playing the way we want them to, but ultimately making plays. So critical there. So that was just, guys, you know, a summary, philosophy, identity, you know, whatever you want to call it, of, you know, the things that I really, you know, stress in my room with you know, with the linebackers. And, you know, as I'm going out and I'm recruiting and evaluating, you know, talent, you know, I'm focusing on those things, and the guys that I feel can really do those things the best. Okay. We're going to shift here to talk specifically within the technique, and what we call the difference. You know, so you may call it block defeat, block destruction, you know, whatever you want to say. At the University of Texas, it's the difference. And whether I'm a wide receiver, a linebacker, a tight end, a corner, it doesn't matter. Okay? Everybody on our football team is going to understand, one, the importance of the difference, but two, how to execute with proper technique the difference. And, you know, special teams obviously is the biggest reason for that, and those offensive guys having to understand that. And then as a defensive player, it should just be part of your, you know, your core fundamentals. Key coaching points to talking about the difference. Okay. You know, there's those eyes again, and talking about putting my eyes on my target. And I gave the Mike Tyson reference, but again, I can't be peeking over the top of a blocker, and then trying to defeat him. Unless my talent just, you know, is so much superior to him, that ain't going to work. And even then, it doesn't work, more often than not. So I've got to really transition my eyes to a blocker, and identify him, and get ready to use my tools to defeat him. All right, hairline to the chin. Okay, so what is that talking about? That's talking about pad level. We all know in the game of football, the low man wins. Okay, and if my hairline is on the chin of my defender or my blocker, I'm always going to be lower, always. But your pad level is critical. And in order to do that, you got to bend your lower body. We are, you know, fanatics about football position at Texas, and everybody being able to bend and get in a good football position, and having your hairline on the chin is part of that. hey, I can't bend at the waist. You know, you talk about it a lot, obviously, in tackling, but it's the same thing in block defeat. If I bend at the waist, I drop my head. So I've got to bend in my ankles, my knees, and my hips. Hey, I've got to have reverse arc in my back. Hey, and I've got to be ready with great pad level, my hairline on my blocker's chin. Wrists close together. See there, bullet point 3. Hey, I can't do anything with my hands outside. We talk about low man wins. We also talk about whoever's hands are inside, hey, will win. And so in order to shoot a tight, violent punch, I've got to have my wrists close together. And I'll show you what we do kind of to emphasize that in the off season and different drills as we progress into the season. But wrists close together, elbows tight to the rib cage. I got no power with my elbows out. Hey, because, you know, show you guys, nobody bench presses with their elbows out. Those elbows got to be in, wrists close together. The 5th point, what goes with that is your thumbs being up. So really 3, 4, and 5 there all go together. Wrists close together, elbows in tight, thumbs up. Those 3 things are all linked together, and it's the repetition that you can create for your players of that feeling and that, you know, that position of my hands and my arms that will give them that automatic habit to go do it on game day. And then obviously the violent strike. The only thing not listed here is again, that power foot and having that power foot in the ground. So getting to the drill work, you know, specific to linebacker play. This is something for the off season that we use because, you know, obviously you're limited on the equipment and different rules and regulations on things you can use. And these boards are something that we use that have been great for us and great in training a guy's hands. So all that is, guys, is a 2x4. It's a little 2x4 board. Shoot, I don't even know how tall, but it's you know, 2x4 board about that big right there. And one partner holding it. And day one install, day one application of this is shooting one hand. And you can see this first strike here of guys missing wide, elbow out maybe, different target points with their arm, but it's just training, one hand at a time, all right, being able to shoot elbow tight, wrist tight, thumb up, and strike a target. So it's left hand, then it's right hand, shooting and hitting a target. It doesn't have to be the most violent thing ever right now. We're more focused on the hand placement and hitting my target and being detailed with how I'm violently shooting that hand. Obviously, I'm on my knees here. It's more about the hand placement. So it's left hand, it's right hand, and then to finish it, I do 5 quick ones. So just being able to shoot from the hips, to strike that board 5 quick times. Again, just training that position. Elbow in tight, wrist close together, thumbs up. All right, now progressing to the feeling of coming out of my hips. You know, I do this in fall camp and in spring ball. When we're allowed to have spring ball, from a 6-point and striking the 6-man sled. I go over there and ask OG and Coach Hagan if I can get a little time on the 6-man, and just coming out of my hips and striking that 6-man. You know, here's a way with the boards to do it. You know, first whistle is strike. Second whistle is just getting that feeling of snagging. We call it the snag. Some guys call it, you know, a lot of different things. All right, we use the term snag. And this is not a snag drill. So you see guys throwing the boards and all that shit everywhere. That's not the point. Okay? The point is the punch. The point is the hips, and just the feel of the finish. One side, and then eventually we'll get the other side. The next day or the next progression off of this, as I keep going here, is now getting them up into that 2-point stance. Obviously, that's where we play. That's where we spend our time. We're not, D-lineing down at 4-point or 3-point. So we got to get comfortable up in a 2-point stance. Okay? Here's where we can incorporate that power foot. All right? And again, the power foot is the near foot. Okay? I want to put that foot at my man. If all your power comes from the ground up, and I put that foot off to the right, off to the left of the man I'm trying to strike and defeat, I'm wasting power. I'm sending it elsewhere. So I want to put that power foot in the ground at my man, and I want to hit my target with elbows in tight, thumbs up, wrists close together, just like my man Court here is doing. That's good position. The next piece of this is just bringing the trail leg, and you'll see as we get into more drills here, that at times guys will leave that trail leg behind. Keep bringing it. Bring it with you. They focus so much on the power foot that they leave the trail leg behind. Show you a couple examples here. You see here 33 David Bender reaching for it, right? He's all upper body. He's all arms, I've got to bring my lower body first. What I tell my guys is the foot precedes the blow. So it's foot hands. It's foot hands, right? It's quick, and it's not foot and then hand, but it's the foot has got to get in the ground before I strike. Better on his second rep. Again, more of the power foot, hand placement, bringing my feet, timing up my hands with it. Leveraged offset to their left, stepping with a right power foot. You can see there, Russell Hine leaving a leg behind there. Just bring that trail leg with me. And now switching to the left. Offset them the other way. Now it's a left foot power foot. Again, the size of that board now, guys, really makes them focus on hitting their target. All right. Obviously, a 330-pound offensive lineman is going to be a lot bigger than a little 2x4, but that's the point. That's the emphasis. Good there. All right, good. All right, so that's boards. Again, that's more off-season for us, but just the aiming point, all right, the tight hands, and being able to strike with great wrists close together, elbows in tight, and thumbs up. This drill here, med balls, this is a drill that I got from Coach Brick, the linebacker coach of the Falcons, last year or 2 years ago now. Really focusing and emphasizing on the punch. He talked a lot about, the point between your elbow and your wrist being the point of the strike and being powerful. And obviously guys with really long arms have an advantage, but really, the punch from your elbow to your wrist and the extension there, being a point of emphasis. This is not about a power foot. This is more about playing in space and keeping a guy off me quickly. I'm going to show you an NFL example here in a minute, but just a quick punch to separate and make a play on a ball in space. Just coaching up the partners here, wait for that guy to get directly in front of you before you throw that med ball. These guys are kind of throwing it out in front. But again, you can't hit this med ball with your fingertips, your thumbs down, your elbows out. Your body position has got to be, your arms and your hands have got to be in the correct position. And then the last coaching point on this is it's not like I'm pushing a car, right? I'm not slowly trying to generate power and get something going. I'm a boxer throwing a quick jab. I want to be quick and violent with my hands. Again, med ball, block the feet. Everybody's good there. I think I got an NFL example here. Go down, then come back, right? You guys know how to rotate your drills. You can finish this, again, with a, ball carrier and a tackle, right? You can finish it with a fumble recovery. Have somebody down here rolling them a ball, right? You can do a lot of different things, and I think that's critical, to incorporate tackling, turnovers, right? Some sort of finish to your drill. Here's the NFL example I was telling you about, Bobby Wagner, here number 54, for the Seahawks. Got a little spot shadow on him there. But again, I'm gonna use him again as an example for how to strike and how to put a power foot in the ground and strike a blocker. This isn't that drill. This isn't that focus. This is, I gotta not waste my time with this guy because of where the ball is and where I need to go to make a play. So you can see just the quick pop and extension that Wagner has here on this offensive lineman for the Packers. Bobby also, I believe, has like 35.5-inch arms. So God blessed him with those. But, again, the point's still the same. And this is something, guys, NFL film, I use a lot to show my guys. I know a lot of guys do that. Obviously that's a goal for all the guys in my room. And so when you can show something that you're talking about, and a guy at the highest level where they want to get to, using it and applying it, it sinks in a little bit more. Who's that at 29 right there? Hey, Tori.
What can I help you with?
Earl Thomas, pretty good player, wasn't
He just kind of, yeah.
Average? Yeah, good.
Yeah.
Good. All right, one-man sled. Okay. Now, getting more into the, season, getting more into the, if you have the equipment and the ability to use this is by far, my favorite piece of equipment in the game of football right now. All right, hands down. Take me to the grave. You're burying me with this one-man U-bar sled right here. Okay, and all it is, guys, is your popsicle stick dummy one-man sled. Take that damn, popsicle pad off of it, and you got the U-bar underneath. And now I think, now they're specifically making them and for the whole purpose. But if you got a one-man, guys, take the pad off it, throw some tape around the U-bar shape there, to protect your guys' hands, and you got what you want, all right? And really, again, the focus here is the power foot and the hand placement, all right? It's April 16th. We should be, 4 weeks into spring ball here, and I'd have a bunch of Texas film doing this. So I apologize, but in order to give you guys, a good presentation, I had to use some of this older stuff. Tori, don't tell on me, right? So power foot and hands, striking, coming out of my hips, and then the violent snag to stay in my gap. And here's a big coaching point for me, I talk to my guys about hatting my gap and understanding when I stay in and when I get out. So we talk all the time about staying in versus getting out. Gap versus gap and a half. You're not a 3 technique. You're not a shade. You're not a robot. All right. Yes, you are an A gap player, B gap player, whatever it might be. But you have got to be able to strike, snag, and get off a block and make a play. All right, on another gap or at another part of the field. So here it is, working, getting out, gap and a half. You see the right foot, power foot. You see the elbows in tight, thumbs up. Guys, there's no other way to hit this sled than that way. That's why I love it, man. There's no other way to hit this sled than with having your wrist in tight, your elbows in tight, and your thumbs up. You try it any other way, you're going to bust your fingers up. And now I'm going gap and a half. I just stand for them and tell them, all right, here's your ball carrier, staying in or getting out. Changing it up, left foot now, strike and snag. This is a great violent punch, putting that power foot at your man, striking and snagging. Here's one getting out, gap and a half. Good. So same guy we just talked about. Bobby Wagner, I'm going to go to the end zone here. but entirely different situation. You see him here at 54, totally different situation. He's going to have a downhill blocker at him, right? Ball carrier in phase, man, coming downhill towards his gap. And look at the body position. Left foot, power foot, hairline on the chin, hands inside. And he's taking a, shoot, I don't know, 300 plus pound professional, and bending them backwards in half. That's a hell of a strike. That's a hell of a job putting a power foot in the ground and delivering a punch and delivering a blow to a blocker. Good. All right, so that's that one-man sled. If you got one of those, I believe in it wholeheartedly. If you don't, beg your head coach to get one, or go steal the popsicle sled and throw the pad away. So there's no choice, all right, but to use it that way. Sandbags. And these next two drills, guys, are going to be, the point of emphasis here is the snag, the disengage, the violence and the urgency it takes. I tell my guys all the time, I ask them, is holding legal in the game of football? All right, and I didn't get in for Coach Hand's presentation. What was it, last week or 2 weeks ago now? But all offensive line coaches, they all teach holding. They're all cheating bastards. So holding is legal in the game of football. So you've got to be violent, you've got to be urgent, and you've got to be have the mindset that I'm going to break your damn arm if you don't let go of me. And that's that mindset, that point of focus and emphasis is critical. So right here, the start of this drill, I tell them which power foot is up. Here it is a left foot power foot. We got these sandbags. I think they're 20, 25 pounders. All right, holding them on the inside handles. A lot of these have two handles, outside and inside. Get them to grab the inside. So it's, again, emphasizing how tight their hands got to be. And they start with that bag at their chest, not down at their waist, not holding it lazy. They're already in the fit. They've already struck the blocker. They've already put that power foot in the ground, and they're in the fit. It's a 2-whistle drill. First whistle, extension, violent extension. Feet get active, man. Feet are hot. And then the quick second whistle for the snag. And when we snag, guys, we are violent, low, and away. I don't want to throw them into my body. I don't want to throw them down straight in front of me. All right, I want to throw them violent, low, and away. And it's a full body movement, man. It ain't just your arms. You got to use your whole body. So that's left foot staying in. Here's left foot getting out. First whistle, extension. Second whistle, violent snag, low and away. Switch the feet. Right foot up. First whistle, extension. Second whistle, violent snag. Sometimes guys will go up too much. You can see this guy here, 45, going up with the bag. You're never going to take a 300-pound old lineman and pick him up off the ground. It's out, right? They want connection. We want separation. Violent extension and snag. And then right foot, getting out, gap and a half. It's quick. You can work through it, all right, and get all 4 of those cycled through in an Indy period. Here's Blake Martinez, linebacker for the Packers, a guy that, has been, I think, top 3 in tackles for 3 years in a row now, I believe. All right, and here's him again, power foot, hand placement. You can see his hands and the hands of the old lineman outside. His pad level at the start wasn't great, but he gets underneath them. And really here, just the snag. Getting extension, getting a man off my body, and being violent with the snag to stay really in my gap. You can see him peeking out of his gap, but he really ends up staying in his gap. Example here of going gap and a half, getting out of my gap will be Darius Leonard, NFL Rookie of the Year right here, going gap and a half. So he's going to get this tight end coming down on him here, 81. He's going to be in his gap and then go gap and a half. This is a great picture of the violence and urgency it takes to get off a block and to go make a play. Good there. All right, just another way, guys, to drill the same thing, and another little visual cue for you as you watch tape. If you have the ability to watch your own Indy, or just as you teach guys, use this drill. Got this from Don Brown when I was at Boston College with him. He's now the DC at Michigan, and a hell of a football coach. But this drill right here with these pop-ups really emphasizes the violence of the snag. And not because those pop-ups are heavy. They're not. They're light. They're short ones. They're not the tall ones, the short ones. But really, as you watch it, you can see if a guy bounces this thing off the ground. Or if you can see the bag just kind of, right, not really go. And that shows you how much urgency and how much violence he put in to snagging that thing. Again, they're in the fit, left foot, power foot, right, bag at your chest, hat and eyes in your gap. First whistle, extension. Second whistle, violent snag. Pop-ups there. I have it the other way as well. Didn't make it on this cut up, but again, switch the power fit, switch the gap, and then you can work staying in and getting out with that kind of violence. Here's our boy again, Bobby Wagner. Look at the violence and the urgency at the point of contact. Bad power foot, right? His near foot should be his left foot, but the violence to get off a block is there. And that comes from sandbags, that comes from pop-ups, that comes from the repetition to do that. All right, the last two drills, guys, I had on here, we got some video that got kind of chewed up, got messed up, but our below delivery and push-pull. What I love about the drills that I showed you up to this point is it takes a lot of the wear and tear off your guys with the one man, with the sandbags, the pop-ups. There's not a lot of contact there, but you're using and training all the key core values and core fundamentals that they need. The below delivery drill is the old typical partner drill where one guy is leveraged, and it's 3 shots. I'm left foot, power foot, hand to the throat, hand to the shoulder pad, separate, strike, separate, strike, and snag on the third one. So that's just partner below delivery. And then the push-pull is I get them in that fit with the partner, and it's 3 extensions. And you just get the feel for a guy leaning back on you and pushing them off your body and just what that feels like. So I push, I pull, I push, I pull, I push, and I snag on the third one. So those are the other 2 drills that I use quite a bit. But again, those obviously more of a Tuesday, more of a fall camp type drill of creating a lot of contact. You guys know it. You're limited on contact, as are we. So you got to find the ways and use the tools and the equipment to be able to get what you want. All right. Just to kind of close out and finish up here, again, I mentioned to you that, my dad was my coach in high school. And, so again, I want to say thank you. I appreciate, everything you high school coaches do. I've been drawing how to fit the power in my notebook since about 5th grade. And my GPA probably reflects it, but very, very passionate about, the game of football and being a teacher and a coach, and pretty much knowing all my life that this is what I want to do. Appreciate everything you guys do. I appreciate you guys joining, me for this, and hope that answered some questions, gave you some ideas, some things to play with and adapt and mold into your system. And, for all you coaches in the state of Texas, look forward to getting out and meeting everybody and you know, excited to be here. Tori, that's all I had. Do we have any questions or anything? I know I got about, I don't know, 10 minutes.
Guys, if y'all have any questions, y'all can put them in the chat. We can look if anything comes in right now. So I don't think anything's coming up right now.
Okay.
Okay, guys, y'all are good. So thank you so much, Coach Hutzler. So I'm going to end this, and we'll see y'all back next week, hopefully.
Welcome.
Welcome.